Welcome, gentlemen. Wale Ogunade and Malaki Ogumadu.
Thank you for inviting me.
Indeed. Could I take off with you Section 115? Both you guys are thoroughly conversant with it.
Yes.
And that confusion of the ordinary layman, the ordinary man, can you appreciate it? Because, in fact, a resident electoral commissioner once said that people are in danger of finding, 2 years in jail if they're not careful the way things are going. But Mr. Okoye of INEC has said that, well, people are a bit confused. They need to understand that there is a difference between an aspirant and a candidate. And you began to laugh there, so explain it to me, please.
There is no stress about this thing. It is those who want to play pranks that are confused. The law is written in simple English. All you need to know to read the law is for you just to know how to read and write. Section 115 is very, very clear. Don't mind the politicians. The only thing they know how to do is to polish tricks. Nothing more. They know that an election is coming. And you cannot contest 2 offices in 1 election. And they know that there are windows closed for one office or the other. You want to contest for the office of president, then of course it's simultaneous with that of the Senate and any other office in that window, in that circle. And the Electoral Act is clear. If you want to contest for one office, you cannot contest again for another office. You cannot pick 2 nomination forms in the same circle. It's clear. That's what is stated in Section 115,
okay.
Particularly in Section A, D, C, E, F. They are just written. And of course, anyone who at this level, the person cannot tell me he doesn't know. A Lawal cannot say he does not know because he is the chief lawmaker of the country, not to talk of Akpabio, who have moved around, and all of them in that circle. So telling us that this thing is confusing is a big issue that nobody will take from them.
Okay, one moment, please. Malaki, if, and I have to take it, on your word, if it is, and that was my thinking before, say, look, it's English, really. It's not written in Russian.
Or Ukraine.
So why is there this apparent need for a conversation over the matter? Are these matters being looked at emotionally? Because when you leave the straightforward intellectual, black is black, gray is gray, and white is white, then you enter the territory that we find ourselves in today. Why do you think there is a sort of an emotional interpretation?
Well, the word I would like to use is a mischievous interpretation.
Okay.
If we get caught by emotion or sentiment, we'll be driving further from what is playing out. Section 115, subsection D in particular, of the Electoral Act 2022 sets out to prevent politicians from junketing and, if you like, forum shopping. It is the equivalent of forum shopping as we have in law practice. That is the mischief that particular section set out to cure. Do not forget that the electoral history of Nigeria has consistently witnessed amendments of our electoral laws at each turn and curve, arising from the malfeasance, the noticeable malpractices, which the experiences of previous elections have thrown up. And so in this particular instance, the law seeks to prohibit such a situation in which politicians, contestants, mischievously occupy their position in one breath and extend their aspiration to yet another office by way of equally aspiring and criminalized it I mean, prohibited it in such a way that it attracts punishment in the event of conviction. And that is 2 years imprisonment. I did not see any option of fine there as an alternative.
Which probably shows the seriousness.
Intensity, the
purpose.
seriousness of what is sought to be achieved. So, Lawal, for instance, President of the Senate, is the chairman of the National Assembly. We understand the chief law officer is the Attorney General under Section 150. But this one is the architect in the final analysis of the legislations that we have, including the latest amendment of the Electoral Act. So what is the problem?
That indeed is
the problem, in my view, has not escaped the routine but dubious efforts of our political actors to manipulate and consistently seeking ways to undermine the due process of the law. And that is what we have at our hand in many states now.
Indeed.
What has made it worrisome this time is that the election monitoring body that is supposed to be an umpire, a regulator, or be detached, is by conduct, clear conduct, particularly regarding the powers they reserve under the same amended Electoral Act, specifically Section 84, subsection 13, to look the other way as if the problem has not started.
Everything is all right. There's no problem. You know, as if that is the situation.
Mr. Yori, it could be very depressing. I have done election matters where you see somebody who did not purchase a nomination form, who did not contest for an election, turning out to be the person, the name submitted to INEC.
So, Wale, I called it, tried to be delicate about it. I called it an emotional understanding or interpretation. Malaki said, forget all of that. He would use the word mischievous. Now, why INEC is INEC, independent? That independent part, I'm just getting to be a bit worried because the kind of, INEC, first of all, it needs to be said, following some elections that we've also conducted and that we've all been party to, we participated in, INEC has a healthy balance in the goodwill department. People are saying, well, you know, give it to INEC, they're trying. Do you think this could possibly begin to squander this hard-earned, goodwill now that INEC is at peace with certain things like a new phenomenon in our polity, placeholders, for instance? Suddenly, we suddenly got used to something called a placeholder.
You have already taken the seal from me, the questions, the way you couched it. And I'll take it this way. In the first instance, INEC is a creation of the law by virtue of Section 153, subsection paragraph F of the 1999 Constitution. And by virtue of that creation, INEC owes its life and responsibility and duty to the Constitution, which gives it that power in Section 1, subsection 1 again, that all persons and authority, all institutions created must subscribe to the Constitution. We will leave that one and go into the Electoral Act itself. That gives it now that it must be unbiased in its activities. But is INEC not biased? Events happening now shows, because the rules are clear.
Where would you cite as an instance of such a bias?
Look at the Lawal, the Akpabio, and all these matters that are coming up.
Okay.
This thing is that once a matter, look, they don't carry out, once an election has been concluded, it is concluded. That's the primary and the whatever one they do. For starters, these were things that were done before. It took stakeholders like us to put INEC on its toes to ensure that they monitor party primaries. If you remember, and my brother Malaki, there was a time that primaries for Osun State governorship will be held in Ibadan, or your state. And there was a time in your Delta, I'm sure you are from Delta, in Delta State, people, they left Delta, maybe because it's just across the river, and they went to Onitsha to conduct their primary election, primaries. That's political parties. And we said, no, there's what we call jurisdiction in law. And of course, once you leave that area to another place, that's not for that state. Thank God INEC has corrected itself in that regard. And of course, before this time, the INEC officers don't attend any of these political parties when they are having their events, their elections or convention. Again, they have gotten to that level now that they attend. So what is the problem now that your officers attend the event and you now overrule whatever report they bring? Obviously, that's not it.
Okay. You know
and my brother, let me just land it here.
Okay, land it because I've got to go on a break.
John 8:32.
Which part of the Constitution is that?
No, it's the Bible. That's the Supreme Book.
Okay.
It says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Institutions must follow the truth in all their activities. By the time they bend corners, they bend rules, definitely it will cause chaos. And it may remove this goodwill that you say that they are earning. They better think fast. One music master, Ayla Omowura, sang a song. I'm sorry for you. That's why I'm advising you.
All right then.